Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Monday, August 17th, 2020. Thank you, as always, for tuning in with us. And as usual, I'd like to extend our invitation to any business owners or advertisers that are looking for a platform to advertise on. Just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. Florida National News has 5 different shows to choose from on which to advertise. So shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. We'd love to send you some information. As always, I'd like to get you guys started with the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization reports over 21.5 million confirmed cases and over 767,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 5.4 million confirmed cases and over 170,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting over 573,000 confirmed cases and over 9,400 confirmed deaths. Now, jumping into our world story today, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is delaying the election over COVID-19. Now, she's choosing to delay the country's parliamentary election by 4 weeks to October 17th after the reemergence of COVID-19 in the country last week. The announcement was made on Tuesday that locally acquired cases of COVID-19 had been confirmed in New Zealand's biggest city, Auckland. Remember that report we shared with you guys before? It was all concentrated in one household. So out of an abundance of caution, the Prime Minister is delaying the election. Now, that outbreak prompted the government to introduce strict level 3 lockdown measures back on August 12th. And this came after around 100 days without community spread. So they were doing very well at the time. Now, the rest of the country was put into level 2. This is a quick recap of the report that we gave you guys last week, with both lockdown periods extended to at least August 26th, as further cases of COVID-19 were confirmed there. Now, the general election was due to take place on September 19th, with Parliament rising on August 6th, and campaigning had already started before the lockdowns were introduced. So this kind of put a damper on things. Now, at a live stream media conference on Monday, today, Prime Minister Ardern said it was clear that, quote, the reemergence of COVID in Auckland at the beginning of the formal campaign period has been cause for concern. She said that New Zealand's Electoral Commission had assured her that a safe and accessible election would be possible on the new date. So that's in October. She said, ultimately, I want to ensure we have a well-run election that gives all voters the best chance to receive all the information about parties and candidates and delivers certainty for the future. Now, the Prime Minister said that while the decision to change the election date rested solely with her as Prime Minister, she did consult with other party leaders, as moving an election date, especially this late in an electoral cycle, is a significant decision. She said that New Zealand's Electoral Commission had been preparing for a range of circumstances, such as holding an election in a level 2 or 3 lockdown, and that she didn't intend to change the election date again. Unfortunately, that's what ended up having to happen. New Zealand's parliament will now reconvene tomorrow and be dissolved on September 6th ahead of the October poll. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated on that. Coming here to the United States, Arizona has seen a drop in new COVID-19 cases and deaths. Now, state health officials there reported 883 additional COVID-19 cases as of Sunday and 14 more known deaths there. Hospitals are continuing to see gradually fewer patients hospitalized for COVID-19, so that's good news. Inpatient hospitalizations, ICU beds occupied, and ventilators in use also decreased slightly as of Saturday on the weekend, continuing the general downward trend over the past month, according to hospital data reported to the State Department. So congratulations to Arizona on that. The 14 new known deaths reported on Sunday represent the new deaths identified by Arizona Department of Health Services on that particular day. But many had happened days and weeks earlier. So very interesting on that. Sunday's dashboard for their Department of Health showed that 81% of inpatient beds and 80% of ICU beds were in use as of Saturday, which includes people being treated for COVID-19 and other patients. Overall, 33% of ventilators are in use. So that's a decrease in the number of severe cases due to COVID-19. Of known test results from last week, 8% have come back positive, according to the state. So that's a little bit closer to what the World Health Organization is looking for. They're looking for at least 5% over the course of 14 days straight. So congrats to Arizona for coming a little bit closer to that. Now, Johns Hopkins University is calculating Arizona's 7-day moving average of percent positives at 10.8 and shows that it is trending downward. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated on that as well. Congratulations again to the state of Arizona. Jumping here to the state of Florida, as of right now, Florida is counting the smallest daily increase in new cases since the month of June. Our number is still kind of high, but given the trend that we've been on, we're now starting to see a smaller number since the month of June. Florida recorded just 3,700 new cases of COVID-19 as of Sunday, which is the smallest increase of cases since June 21st, to be specific. The percent of positivity rate was at 7.79%. So a little bit closer to that 5% that the World Health Organization has set as the benchmark as well. Now, the percent positivity, for those of you who may be wondering how that's calculated, is usually the number of people who test PCR, so the nose swabs that basically dig into your brain if you ever took one of those tests, or an antigen positive for the first time, divided by all the people that tested on that day. Now, that doesn't include people who had already tested positive once and have been retested to see if they're still infected. So far, Floridians in the age range of 25 years old to 34 years old have accounted for the largest percentage of cases throughout the state so far. There are over 108,000 cases within that age group, which accounts for 19% of the state's total. Of those 108,000 cases, just over 2,000 have been hospitalized and 64 have passed away due to COVID-19, unfortunately. But before we go to the quick commercial break, I did want to present the audience question to you, going back to New Zealand choosing to delay its elections. Given the conversation that's happening here in the United States with mail-in ballots and the US Postal Service and kind of the rhetoric that we've been hearing about the elections due to COVID-19, what are your thoughts on delaying the election for that reason? Leave a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on what's going on with the US Postal Service? What are your thoughts on the possibility of delaying an election? We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you think. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with some more stories.
Big business and special interest groups have begun their attacks on Rick Singh on social media, radio, television. They want to make sure he's no longer in office. Have someone, anyone but Rick Singh in office. And the reason is simple. They don't want to pay their fair share and expect you to pay it for them. Now, the question is, do you want to pay it for them?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. Jumping into your next U.S. story. The U.S. Postal Service, going back to the question I presented right before the break, the U.S. Postal Service is saying that it will halt any more mailbox removals after reports surfaced in the past week of postal workers removing those iconic blue mail collection boxes from street corners in multiple states. The USPS is saying it will halt further removals for the next 90 days, citing, quote, recent customer concerns. Now, local news outlets in places such as Montana and Oregon and New York have reported on those mailboxes being, quote, hauled away in flatbed trucks and seen discarded behind a post office in recent days. So on Sunday, in response, the Postal Service said the removals were in keeping with routine efforts to, quote, identify redundant / seldom used collection boxes. Now, Postal Service spokeswoman Kimberly Frum said, quote, this process is one of the many ways the Postal Services makes adjustments to our infrastructure to match our resources to declining mail volumes. The Postal Service will postpone removing boxes for a period of 90 days. While we evaluate our customers' concerns. Now, so far, with more Americans expected to vote by mail in the upcoming election than ever before, of course, Democrats have raised an issue with the series of cost-cutting reforms enacted by Postmaster General Louis DeJoy. Now, critics have said those measures have slowed the mail service, prompting questions about whether it's part of a concerted effort to undermine absentee voting. Again, leave us your thoughts in a comment below as part of the answer to our audience question. Right now, House Democrats on Sunday had invited Postmaster General DeJoy to testify before Congress on August 24th. So we will keep you posted on that as to when that conversation takes place and what the result of that dialogue is going to be. Now, jumping down here to the state of Florida, you guys might have remembered seeing a viral video on Facebook or YouTube or even Instagram, depending on the social media platform you use, of the sheriff of Clay County surrounded by his fellow sheriff deputies, warning everybody to keep the peace in Clay County. That is, of course, that gentleman is now suspended. Unfortunately, Sheriff Daniels was arrested on Thursday, August 13th. And in his stead, Governor DeSantis has appointed Sheriff Matt Walsh as the interim Clay County Sheriff. That executive order was released on Saturday. The executive order says Daniels was charged with tampering with physical evidence and 3 counts of false reports to authorities on Thursday, August 13th. Daniels was immediately suspended from public office, according to the executive order, and he is prohibited from performing any official act, duty, or function of public office. In the executive order, it also says, quote, the information alleges that Darrell Daniels has committed felony acts in violation of the laws of Florida. This suspension is predicated upon the information which are incorporated as is fully set forth in this executive order. So a bit of bad news for now former Sheriff Daniels. We'll continue to keep you guys posted where this is concerned. But that is it for that particular Florida segment. We're going to take another quick commercial break and come back with your business and sports story. Stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back. And jumping into our business story for today, 2 Universal Orlando hotels will be temporarily closing due to COVID-19 struggles. The 2 hotels will be closing next week, specifically the Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort and Universal's Aventura Hotel, both operated by the luxury hospitality company Lowe's Hotels, will temporarily close on August 21st. Lowe's will continue operations at its other Universal hotels, including the Hard Rock Hotel, Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and Universal's Endless Summer Resort, Surfside Inn and Suites. Those are going to continue to remain open, according to Universal Orlando. So in the statement, Universal said guests with reservations at Sapphire Falls or Aventura will be accommodated at their other hotels. So if you booked a hotel room in one of those 2 hotels, don't worry, you'll be able to get a room in any of their other hotels that are remaining open. Now, the revenue from Universal's theme parks had declined by a whopping 94% in the second quarter compared to the same time last year, of course, due to COVID-19. And this data is coming from Comcast earnings, which was released on July 30th. And of course, Comcast is the parent company for Universal. Very interesting. Now, jumping down to our sports story very quickly, we're still continuing the back and forth conversation on college sports and whether or not the sports seasons are going to begin. Florida International University has announced that it's pushing back the start of its sports seasons. So while Governor Ron DeSantis continues to lobby for colleges and high schools to move forward with their sports seasons, FIU said on Thursday that they're going to delay the start of their intercollegiate sports until September 16th, saying, quote, the health and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff are our top priority. And this is from University President Mark Rosenberg in a statement. He said, quote, with this in mind and based on input from our FIU healthcare experts, the informed science surrounding COVID-19 and the current circumstances in our South Florida community, FIU will postpone all intercollegiate competitions to September 16th. We're making this decision in an abundance of caution. And of course, as conferences go, FIU is a member of Conference USA. So for now, they're waiting for a month. We'll continue to keep you guys updated. In the meantime, we're going to take one final commercial break and wrap up with your entertainment story. Stay tuned.
It takes experience to know the difference in property values. For example, this business is not the same as this business. And this house is definitely not the same as this house. And this, well, this is definitely not the same as this. And that's why it's important to have someone who understands true property appraisals to help our community grow, while making sure everyone pays their fair share. Because experience matters. Re-elect Rick Singh for Orange County Property Appraiser.
All right, guys, welcome back as we wrap up with the entertainment story. Congratulations are in order for Hamilton, having outperformed anything on Netflix in the month of July. And of course, you guys heard us report when Hamilton was first released on the Disney Plus platform, because originally the film was intended to release to theaters, but due to COVID-19, the theaters remained closed. So instead, it was released on the Disney Plus platform. And according to data from Variety and 7 Park Data Stats, Hamilton was more popular and more watched than anything on Netflix in July. A whopping 37% of the Research Forum's panel of viewers in the US watched Hamilton last month, almost 3 times the number that watched the second widest reaching title of that month, which is Netflix's true crime docuseries, Unsolved Mysteries. Actually, that's a throwback for some of us, but that was only 14% of the viewers. 14% watched Unsolved Mysteries. Hamilton was 37%. The Hamilton audience constituted the largest audience amassed by any one program over the course of 1 month this year across 7 parks tracking of Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, and Apple TV+. The only networks that weren't included are HBO Max and Peacock. And of course, Peacock is brand spanking new. We'll continue to keep track of that as well. But by comparison, in June, no streaming show that 7 Park measured even came close to having the same level of audience reception as Hamilton did in July, the show that reached the most viewers in 7 Park's panel that month. Now, with Disney opting not to disclose any hard numbers on its popular streaming titles, it's kind of hard to grasp the musical's actual audience size, but hey, 37% is still a very big deal. So congratulations to Hamilton for that. Last month, Disney CEO Bob Chapek told employees that Hamilton brought in a lot of new subs during an all-hands meeting shortly after the musical's July 3rd streaming debut. He reiterated its success on the company's earnings call last week. Now, separate app analytics firms reported weeks ago that US Disney Plus downloads skyrocketed over the July 4th weekend because of the debut of Hamilton, which of course, very apropos given what that musical was about. So congrats again. Disney Plus is expected to draw in lots of viewers over the next 2 months with the release of Mulan on its platform. You guys heard us report on that last week after the very long delay due to movie theaters still not being open in the US just yet. Now, there's a lot of anticipation, not only for Mulan, but also, and that's in September, by the way, but also season 2 of the mega hit The Mandalorian, which is premiering in October. So if you're a Disney Plus fan, you have a lot to look forward to. In the meantime, guys, that does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, be sure to like and follow us. You can find us at Florida National News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And on YouTube, also be sure to click that little bell icon so you get all of our notifications for all of our shows. In the meantime, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. For those of you who are still looking to advertise, one more time, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. Have a great rest of your Monday afternoon. Take care.